Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, shout out to Pepper for pulling the classic Appa shrinking bison move. Is Naga getting old, or do they just not color her snout right here?
Well, aren't you a sight for sore eyes?
Yo, Boomy's looking pretty good lately. He pulled a General Shinu and got in shape in his 40s.
It's so great to see you again, Boomy. And you too, Boomju.
Is Boomju named Boomju to mean Boomy Jr., you think?
Well done, kids. I'm proud of you all for finding Korra.
It's kind of weird. This season, Milo and Iki as a duo have traded screen time amounts with Naga and Pabu.
Welcome home.
I missed you, Tenzin.
Now, I hate to get right down to business, but I want to hear what happened in Zaofu.
Kind of a tame reunion between two of our characters with the most screen time, two characters that should be pretty close to each other. I know we've got stuff to do, but the heart of these shows are the characters, and I think they should have time to interact. Especially in an episode like this, where, man, there's a whole lot of forgettable stuff that goes on. Like, you're not missing much if you burn some screen time on people just talking. I guess that'll play into a point I'm gonna make around the finale.
How about you use your own legs for a while?
You know, when I fled Republic City with Zhu Li, she carried me 20 miles in one day. And that was after she sprained her ankle.
Well, Zhu Li did really get rocked with a spirit vine, so I believe a sprained ankle.
That's fine. Leave me here, let the worms gobble me up. I deserve it.
No way, mister. You're not getting off that easily.
Surprisingly, these guys weren't nearly as beat up as this after they leapt from a train, so I guess they've really gone through some shit since then.
I want you to take my hand and march with me out of this forest.
All right, I'll take the driver's seat for a while. Hop on.
Oh, great. My feet could use a break.
Okay.
How much you think Bolin's got on Varrick? Like 30 pounds? Dude's pretty built. Now, the logistics of this trap, right? I always think about this. So it makes a giant net as it pulls itself up to the branch. But surely there would have to be like 4 incredibly obvious lines of rope draped to the ground from the tree to allow the net to be on the ground, right? Would work no problem for animals, sure, but people?
It's so good to see you again.
You too.
And I'm loving the hair.
Thanks.
Red alert! Holy fuck, it's the second most obvious thing! Write that down! Write that down!
Come on, Mako got us a table at the restaurant.
The restaurant? Which restaurant? Kwang's Cuisine? Because that's the only restaurant I know about, I guess, other than that Southern Water Tribe noodle shop Bolin likes. But the interior of this place doesn't match either of those places, so behold, another new place in Republic City. Man, Season 4 is really putting an effort to flesh this place out just in time for the show to end. Korra and Mako back on no awkwardness hugging terms. What? I got a bunch of lists.
Hello there, Prince Wu, rightful heir to the throne, and this guy's boss. I bet he's told you a lot about me.
Nope, not a thing.
Well, I mean, to be fair to Wu, Korra went MIA for months on end there and had no correspondence with anyone, and Mako's only been your bodyguard for a little while, so I wouldn't get hung up on it.
Then we have so much to talk about.
Korra recoils at the touch of Wu, not a comment on her liking anyone. That just seems to be a trait all humans have. Korra confirmed human.
Hey, pop into the avatar state for me. I want to see your eyes glow.
What? No.
Bro, come on, you gotta hit her with are you in the avatar state right now? Because your eyes light up the whole room. The lines write themselves.
So can you go into the avatar state again? I was worried when you told me you couldn't.
When did she tell you she couldn't? What's going on with you two?
I went to visit my father for the first time. He'd been writing me letters, and I guess I finally felt ready to try and forgive him.
You sure you can trust him? He might just be manipulating you again.
You think I don't know what my own father is capable of?
I guess I do appreciate there being some tension in the group on Korra's return, however brief it may be. Seems like it would have been easy for her to just turn up and everyone be all hunky-dory. And honestly, it does make sense to slow down here. No one on Team Good Guys is aware of any further plans Kuvira has. They just ate an enormous L at Zaofu, but they probably think Kuvira's conquest is over now, the Earth Empire united. So them slowing down and being able to have this time, even though I don't think it's very effective, I think fits narratively well. That being said, it's kind of a pretty slow start to an episode. We're nearly to the first commercial break in the time code, and basically nothing has happened other than a few distant reunions. I know what the title of this episode is, I know, but like, hello, we're on Nickelodeon. It's sometimes not a wonder why the show lost its time slot to SpongeBob reruns. It's just probably a little too slow to keep a kid's attention.
Good afternoon, sir. Perhaps a spritz of cologne to freshen up?
Make it a double, buddy.
Now, I know it's not, but how sweet would this be if this was a Red Lotus member out of nowhere? You know what I mean? Wu was/is, however you want to look at it, the head of a country.
I wish Pabu were here. He could just chew us out of this.
You know who else has incisors sharp as a knife? Zhu Li.
Well, look what we caught.
Well, look what we caught with this 100 feet of rope we had on us when we escaped.
Hello, fellow travelers! I don't suppose you could help us out of this net?
Why would we free a couple of lowly Earth Empire soldiers?
This lady's hair is all over the place. It's like Korra's and Katara's and Azula's all rolled into one.
Please just let us out.
I think I know just what to do with a couple of Kuvira's top men.
I'm on again, and you learned how to firebend? You were an airbender last season and a waterbender before that. Now we just need Steve Bloom to voice an earthbender in the next show, and he'll be the first ever real-life Avatar. If he cut that from the bottom of the tree, surely there should have been way more rope than like the 5 feet that fell with them, right? I don't know, maybe I'm just a wimp, but eating something in full, like its whole body, kind of freaks me out. Even a lobster is a little much for me. I like the gentle illusion of it just being food and not an animal, because I am soft as hell.
Woo, you in here?
I'll be right back.
This is some extreme Avatar intuition out of nowhere. Korra doesn't even really know that there's a problem yet, but somehow she picks out something fishy about this guy doing something very mundane.
I'm in laundry.
Korra gets knocked up by earthbending here, sure, but the metal beam she hits definitely shouldn't have an identical earthbending sound tied to it. That was a pretty pedestrian effort. What the hell? You used to rule at this stuff. Oh, but you didn't want to hurt Wu. Get out of here with your logic. That's a nice touch that they always remember to draw these vines all over the place in the background. As far as Avatar vehicle chases go, and you know how much I actually really like those, I gotta say it's a pretty tame one. No interesting uses of bending, really. Just kind of a reason to turn the music up for a little bit. It's like 3 out of 10.
Wu's not here. This guy was the only one in the truck.
Where's the prince? Halfway to Kuvira by now. All hail the great uniter.
I'm not sure how to feel about this one. The vibe so far has been that Kuvira has intimidated and extorted people into following her, and that's where a lot of her power comes from. That's why Sue's point about people not wanting to follow her made sense. But then this guy's pretty bought into it by how he says this line. Two things can be true, of course, but I think if they're gonna go with the super cartoonish evil Kuvira, a nice contrast to that would have been if nearly everyone, and definitely everyone we see have a say, felt forced to do what she says.
Where do we start? There are thousands of cars in the city, and he could be in any one of them.
Cars? You mean sodomobiles. What's a car? The spirit vine connection thing makes perfect sense. I get it entirely. There's spirit vines here so she can do her weird magic. Check, check. But if I'm going to be a real persnickety bitch about it, Hugh and Guru Patik really only made it seem like you could find someone you have a connection to, or find two people that are really connected. You know, it makes sense. It's a spiritual connection you're following. And Korra and Jinora finding each other makes sense with those rules. But Korra, as far as I can tell, is not that connected with Wu.
Purging?
What are you acting so surprised for? You must have known what she was up to, being part of her inner circle and all.
So fucking true, I'm on.
And once we're through, we'll see about letting you go.
I like a lot that this big action sting where both of our characters jump into action just means Varrick does a big jump. I'm not even kidding. I think it's funny.
Lava time! Bet you didn't expect that!
I didn't either. I nearly forgot he could do that again. Nice touch. There's a little heat, I don't know, what do you call it? Waver to the air because the lava is so hot.
If any of us want to get out of the Earth Empire alive, we'll have to trust each other.
That brings the lava natural cooling thing back into question, right? Bolin does a move and the lava basically turns off. It could be really that bent lava just stays hot longer unless the bender says otherwise.
You met Toph? What was she like?
A cranky, more miserable version of Lynn.
Got her ass. Skirt. Damn, Asami keeps that motherfucking thing on her, and it's color coordinated to her new outfit? Shit. This lady, and don't get me wrong, I know lighting can change how colors look. I mean, hell, I still get comments about how Sozin showed up on a red dragon, but then left on a blue dragon. Like, come on, it doesn't even look that different. What was I saying? Oh, it looks like this lady has red eyes. Oh yeah, remember how I said I couldn't think of a shot in Airbender outside of establishing shots that didn't have any animation? Never mind, I found one. Two, really, back to back, if you want to count this one too. There's probably more too, but you know, just the one I found.
Good afternoon, sir. Can we help you?
What are you calling him sir for? You're the same rank as far as I can tell.
I am in sore need of a shower, and I have blisters that are the size of cantaloupes and twice as juicy.
One of the biggest through lines with Varrick is his ongoing battle with foot growths, weirdly. One of the things you really don't notice until someone points it out. I don't know how they managed to do it, but they printed Varrick's wanted poster with a twitching eye gif installed.
Wait! Stop them! They're traitors to the Empire!
These things make me think, thank God they're going with some post-apocalypse reset for the next show if it ever ends up happening. Could you imagine the Avatar universe with another 60 years of advancement on top of these things?
There's no way I'm going back to prison.
Good thing they had all that rope to use as burnable hand bindings. Genius writing, honestly. Use the lava. Yes! And this water tribe lady super tried to steal Korra's old look. Look at this. She's not even trying to be subtle. So it turns out Varrick really has been this mad genius MacGyver the whole time. And as I've said, I personally don't get that vibe from him at all. The show even makes an effort to make you think otherwise at points, but I guess that's what we're going with. Enough to make an EMP from scratch out of a table leg and some wire. Also, this whole fight scene, that's pretty bad. Nothing cool happens, no creativity, no cool choreography. It's pretty forgettable. Do that move all the time, everywhere.
If we don't find Wu soon, we might never find him.
Wait, now, hold on now. What is this, a spirit floor? You're no guru. This seems way out of nowhere.
How do you know for sure he's here?
I don't, but I had a feeling, okay?
And I'm just supposed to trust your avatar feelings?
Yes, rarely the avatar stuff counts this time.
Woo! It's me!
Mako? Where am I? Am I dead?
Come on, come on.
No, you're on a train.
Ah, damn it. I thought maybe I just really misunderstood the episode and he was dead. Kuvira's taught the mighty metal shingle attack to her subordinates as well, I see. Kuvira's med being skilled with the metal tether stuff makes sense too. Surprised we haven't seen it before this, honestly. It's weird. You'd think you'd remember there being a fight scene on a train in Avatar. Train fights are a pretty memorable style of fight, usually. Extremely tense. But this might be in the top 5 most forgettable fights in all of Avatar. I don't remember the other 4. But it's just something about this episode that just doesn't have the sauce. You know what I mean? They might have used up all the sauce last episode.
There's no place else I'd rather be.
Korra, very human.
Nice digs, Mako. You didn't tell me you came from money.
I don't. This is Asami's place. She was nice enough to let my family stay here after they fled Ba Sing Se.
Yeah, speaking of, how is Ba Sing Se doing anyway? I know there's been a 3-year jump to get it back in order, and this whole thing has been about Kuvira whipping this whole continent into shape, but Ba Sing Se is an interesting spot. If there's no more royalty, what's the power structure like? Were the walls rebuilt and society returned to its tiered hierarchy? Are the Dai Li still a thing without a king or queen? Guns around, but what about everything else?
Are you?
Grandma, this is Prince Wu.
It's kind of a reach, but they kind of use a similar song to this gag from The Fortune Teller.
It's an honor, Grandma Mako.
How about Grand Mako?
No. Now where's the nearest bathroom? I have been holding it all day.
That is true. He did walk into the bathroom and get knocked out immediately earlier.
Harvest these vines until there's nothing left.
And this very odd episode ends out on some utility for the rest of the season. I suppose not a bad choice. Okay, you can probably just tell from the vibe of the video. I think this episode is pretty bad. There's just no fucking je ne sais quoi to it, you know? It's slow and plodding, and there's no real good humor, and for an episode that really brings some of our biggest characters back together, personalities we want to see bounce off each other, there's really not a lot of energy to this episode. Things should be interesting on paper, like a chase to free the prince, and a train fight, and a giant battle between prisoners and mech suits, but it all feels really unimpressive. And honestly, this show very rarely ever feels like that. Usually, when the show is doing something, whether you like it or not, it's doing it hard. Like, seriously, and once again, I know this is gonna be for everyone, I imagine a lot of people don't even remember that there's a train fight in Korra, right? Even in past seasons, utility episodes that just got characters to where they needed to be for events to happen to them still had some highlights. But this one, it's like, man, what is there even to talk about? Patreon shoutouts, you want to see the next 2 episodes of Overanalyzing Korra ahead of the YouTube releases, you can support me on Patreon for just a few bucks. Link, as always, is in the description below the video. Biggest shoutouts of all go to my top patrons, Blanco, who doesn't need a keyboard to type. The computer is so intimidated by them, it just kind of gets the vibe. Cameron Lowry, who was so hot they can keep a 5-foot circle of water around themselves from freezing in the winter. Gene Cree, who won an actual military battle by commanding 1-inch tall plastic army men. Lane Brandon, who caught a bullet in his teeth and a katana between his palms at the same time. LM the RMT, who actually does become invulnerable to all harm if they hide under the covers. Matthew Lang, who can tell where your lineage hails from just by hearing you cough. Potato Scream, who made a martini by putting it through a super collider, and they've just kind of been different since that. The former meaning of life, who was actually colorblind. They can see through things that are red or green. The 1AM party, who parried an oncoming car with a fencing foil. Vector, who dug themselves out of their own grave. Unbeknownst to them, they were placed facing down, so it took a while. Whitrow, who gained a true 6th sense after smoking toxic volcanic fumes, but it's a new sense, so it's really, they can't really describe it, you know? And of course, my other fuck you money patrons, a flock of plain cakes, A2AX Phoenix, Anthony Collins, Jacob Glickman, Kevin Bartlin, Lewis Williams, Liquor Cause I Know Her, Midnight Balsams, Nights by Satire, Tater of Tots, and That One Turian. And my god overanalyzers, Two Boots Are Beat, Ang, Alan Garvin, Andrew Watchett, Anzio Ruiz, Oropataro, Blade Dancer, Carlo Wren, Chandler Crump, Cosmic Newbie, Derek Chapman, Dr. Xerox, Dominic Saint, Emma, Aaron Grace, Fire Lizard 44, I'm a Match, Jackson, Jeremy Rubenstein, Jimith, J-Care 4215, John Warhammer, Justin Scott, Mac, Matthew Lang, Medium D Speaks, Michael Fallon, Mitchell Gobrecht, Nick, Nicholas Abbott, Peter Bandera, Peter Bayron, Pogger White, Rocket Mist, Ryan Maxwell, St. Charlie, Scoobert, Silktoe, Smarty Marty, Princess Useless Backwards, Super Snipper, That Blind Ginger, Totoro Boboro's Musical Emporium, and some sort of bear face. Next up, oh no.